A student leader just asked one question that has Nigerians arguing from Lagos to Abuja. If El-Zakzaky is free and Igboho is free, then why is Nnamdi Kanu serving life in prison? You're watching Explaining Nigeria. We don't just report the news, we help you understand it. And this story has a lot more to it than the headlines are showing you. So here's what's going on. Atiku Isa, the factional president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, also known as NANS, sat down for an interview on SYMFONI TV and made a statement that has sparked a massive national conversation. He compared the cases of three of Nigeria's most well-known agitators, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky from the north, Sunday Igboho from the southwest, and Nnamdi Kanu from the southeast. His argument was straightforward. Two of these men have regained their freedom after facing serious legal battles, but the third, Nnamdi Kanu, is currently serving a life sentence in prison. And when you hear exactly what he said and the argument he made, this story gets really interesting. Now, let me walk you through what Atiku Isa actually said. During the interview on SYMFONI TV, Isa raised a question that many Nigerians have been asking quietly, but few public figures have said this directly. He pointed to Ibrahim El-Zakzaky, the leader of the Islamic movement in Nigeria, who faced years of legal battles and detention, but has since regained his freedom. And then he pointed to Sunday Igboho, the Yoruba self-determination activist from the southwest, who also faced serious legal challenges including detention, but is now free as well. And then he turned to the case of Nnamdi Kanu. Now pay attention to this part. Kanu, the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, also known as IPOB, a group that has been proscribed by the Nigerian government, has been at the center of one of the most talked about legal cases in recent Nigerian history. His case took a major turn when Justice James Omotosho of the Federal High Court in Abuja sentenced him to life imprisonment. And that's when things really started to heat up. Because Atiku Isa's question was direct. If El-Zakzaky, who is from the north, is free, and Igboho, who is from the southwest, is free, then why is Nnamdi Kanu, who is from the southeast, the only one serving a life sentence? And his suggestion was that regional and possibly ethnic considerations may be influencing how these cases are being handled. But here's the thing nobody is talking about. Atiku Isa didn't just stop at comparing the three cases. He went much further. He said that anybody in his right senses will agitate for what Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for. He described Kanu's core message as simply asking to be treated equally, and he questioned what the offense is in that. He even added that if Nigeria is not treating a group of people equally, then asking to leave should not be considered a crime. And on top of that, he made another statement that raised even more eyebrows. He said that in his personal view, any Igbo man who campaigns for or supports the APC is either a coward or a hypocrite. And that detail right there is what everyone is missing. This is not just a random person giving an opinion on social media. This is the factional president of the largest student body in Nigeria, openly questioning whether justice in this country is being applied equally across regions. And when you look at the bigger picture, Kanu's continued imprisonment has drawn reactions not just from ordinary Nigerians, but from political leaders, civil society groups, and supporters who are all questioning the fairness of the entire process. Meanwhile, the cases of El-Zakzaky and Igboho continue to be cited in public discourse as examples of how similar legal battles have led to very different outcomes depending on where the person comes from. And this is the statement that set everything off. Atiku Isa said El-Zakzaky is from the north, Igboho is from the southwest, then why is Nnamdi Kanu in prison? He then added, anybody in his right senses will agitate for what Nnamdi Kanu is agitating for. Treat us equally is not an offense. If you are not treating us equally, let us leave. What is the offense in this? That statement alone tells you everything about where he stands on this entire situation. If you are the kind of person who doesn't just accept headlines, but actually wants to understand what's happening in your country, you are in the right place. Subscribe to Explaining Nigeria. Now, as you can imagine, people have had a lot to say about this. On one side, you've got people saying Atiku Isa is absolutely right, that the comparison between El-Zakzaky, Igboho, and Kanu exposes a clear double standard in how Nigeria handles agitation from different regions. The argument is basically that all three men were fighting for their people in their own way, and the fact that only one of them is serving life in prison raises serious questions about fairness and equity in the Nigerian justice system. But then, on the other side, people are pushing back hard, saying the three cases are not the same.
They argue that the legal circumstances, the charges, and the nature of the movements are fundamentally different, and that comparing them side by side oversimplifies a much more complex legal reality. Some have also pointed out that Isa's comments about the APC were unnecessarily divisive and politically motivated. So, where does this go from here? Let me tell you what to keep your eye on. The big question now is whether Nnamdi Kanu's legal team will pursue further legal options following the life sentence handed down by Justice James Omotosho, and whether this kind of public pressure from figures like Atiku Isa and others will have any impact on how the situation develops. And this is directly connected to a much larger conversation happening across Nigeria about whether justice is truly blind or whether region, ethnicity, and political considerations are playing a role in how high-profile cases are decided. So, this story is far from over. The debate around Nnamdi Kanu's imprisonment and how it compares to the outcomes for El-Zakzaky and Igboho is only getting louder, and that is something worth watching very closely. So that's the full story behind Atiku Isa's comments comparing the cases of El-Zakzaky, Igboho, and Nnamdi Kanu. This is Explaining Nigeria. We don't just tell you what happened, we help you understand it. Now I want to hear from you. Do you agree or disagree? Drop your take in the comments. And if this is your first time on this channel, we do this every single day. Subscribe so you don't miss the next one.